All right, let's do this. Let's get into the reasons why I moved my business to EXP. I'm going to go a little bit about me, my past, kind of how I've gotten to here, and the reasons why I ultimately did decide to take my business to EXP. I'm going to go over some of those big reasons, and maybe some of those will also resonate with you, and you might decide that you want to move your business over to EXP. And if that's the case, I'm going to go over what your next steps should be. A little bit about me and my background. I'm second generation real estate agent. I've come from a background where my mom was always in real estate from pretty much since I was born. She was an associate broker of a small boutique local brokerage here in Columbus, Georgia. And I've grown up just seeing her be a successful businesswoman, being a successful real estate agent, and her and my dad buying investment properties. We literally live in a house for 2 years. We'd then move out, they'd fix it all up, and then they would sell it. And this is like how I grew up in real estate, right? Well, in 2015, something happened, and me and my sister decided that we would get our real estate license, something that we said we would never do, but we did. And we told my mom, hey, I really think that we could be successful opening up our own brokerage. And so in 2015, we did that. We kind of wanted to do a little bit more social media marketing, a little bit newer form of marketing, and the old boutique family brokerage that we were with just wasn't quite there, didn't quite understand how the market and marketing was shifting. So we opened up the brokerage in 2015, and I sold real estate with my sister as a team for 2 years until I decided it was a fantastic idea for me and my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, to move to Grand Cayman to help open up a resort. I had a history and a background in luxury hospitality, and so this was a cool opportunity, and we took it. And we were only supposed to be there for 6 months, helping open a resort, and that 6 months turned into 3 years, and we ended up getting married in Grand Cayman at Stingray City, and it was awesome. But we quickly realized it was about time that we should move home. So in 2019, that's what we did. We moved back home, and we were very intentional with our game plan before we ever decided to move back home. And we knew real estate is like a roller coaster sometimes. Sometimes you have great months, sometimes you don't. And having that background in investments and like seeing my parents build that, I knew that that is what we were wanting to do. So we made a 5-year game plan of wanting to build enough passive income to cover our monthly needs. And so when I say we were intentional, literally day 2 that we were back from Grand Cayman, we were on the courthouse steps buying our first investment property that we were going to flip. So over that course of that full next year, which was 2020, so that was the year COVID was happening, we did not stop with being intentional. We quickly learned early on in this journey of us flipping houses, selling houses, and buying rental properties. You quickly learn who are your real friends, who are going to celebrate you for your successes, and who are not going to celebrate. So we're already being very intentional with our community and heads down, building out our own goals, right? Well, something happened towards the end of 2020 that was pretty cool. We started building this community intentionally of like-minded other people that were wanting to be real estate agents, that were already real estate agents, that were also wanting to turn that commission check and do exactly what Todd and I've been doing and building passive income and building real estate investments. And so before we knew it, we started naturally building this community of like-minded agents that we then started mentoring, teaching them how we were doing it, exact things of how we were taking commission checks, turning it into passive income, how we were being successful in our real estate sales, using social media, going through all of the things, even like setting up accountability calls with other agents in other states, just to have that connection with other like-minded agents, and just I love building this community and getting to network with all these agents, learn their things in their market, and then also share things with mine and how I'm training my agents and helping them. And I kept watching Amy and Gogo from afar, and I was like, am I missing something? Like, I love doing this and I love building this community, but I quickly was spending so much time building this community and networking with these other agents, which was amazing. But I was like, how is this profitable for them? Like, it wasn't making sense. And then I started thinking, like, how can I make this profitable for me for doing something that I love across state borders and make it, reasonable for my time that I'm spending, where I'm not going out and getting another commission check, right? And let me tell you a little bit more why I was diving so hard into this. We had an agent, her name is Bailey, and she's a military, like she's a veteran. She got out, she was brought here because of Fort Benning. So a part of her game plan that we were building out was in 2 years, she was going to leave Columbus and she was going to go back home to Oklahoma. That means me taking, 2 years, training her, setting herself up for success for this big move, only for her to have to kind of like start all over again when she does move. We still had a cap at our brokerage of 16,000. So that was the same as what EXP's is. But if we were still with our small boutique brokerage and it's time for her to go now, well, I'm not in Oklahoma, right? My brokerage wasn't in Oklahoma. My brokerage was Columbus, Georgia, for Georgia and Alabama. I was starting to look into how can we do this. And then I dove in a little bit more to Amy and GoGo's, and I realized the biggest difference was EXP, and that's how they were able to build beyond these boundaries. I was already thinking about, okay, well, if we went in this model, now Bailey has a $16,000 cap. That's the same for her as what we already were. But now the difference for her was as soon as she left Columbus, Georgia, and she moved to Oklahoma, if she was still already working towards that cap and she moved across the state border, she gets to continue building towards that same cap. It doesn't start over. It's not a new book of business. It's one cap no matter where she was. So that was a huge game changer. And after I started like diving deep more, I started researching it, right? I started diving into every single little piece because for me, at the end of the day, I always said, if it's just me and Todd, why would I leave? Why would I ever go to another brokerage? Because this is literally my own brokerage, right? I got back in broker shares with my mom on this business. Why would I ever go somewhere else, right? So I started diving into all things about EXP after I realized that. I had a phone call with Amy. We kind of talked. I said where my vision was, where I wanted to get to. And we just had this like masterminding call, and it was like, oh my gosh, I think this is probably my next step in my next move. But it still took me like 6 months to finally get there. And as I was researching it, I realized they did have rev share, which is very confusing for a lot of people in the real estate industry because the closest thing I think you have to this is Keller Williams profit share, but it's two totally different things. Right? So rev share was truly almost the same as what I was already getting from like the back end broker side from my local brokerage. It wasn't as much, but something that I had at my local brokerage was a higher overhead. So my higher overhead meant that at the end of the day, that rev share almost comes out about the same as what I was getting. So I was like, okay, so I'm not losing that. And that was a little bit of a switch when I started realizing how that works. So EXP also has a cap, which we had a cap, $16,000. Those were about the same. But as I dove more into it, keep in mind last year we did a production of 50 transactions, right? So we capped, we are earning 100% of our commission. But at that production level that we did last year and what we're doing this year, we would reach that level called icons, which means we actually get stock back in our pocket of what our cap was. So now this is a company who is saying, great, we're going to reward you from this level of production. We're going to give you stock back in your pocket. And what I find interesting in this, remember I said I have a luxury hospitality background. In the Ritz-Carlton, I don't know if you know this, but you have 3 days of orientation before you can ever step foot on the ground to help a guest, right? And in those 3 days of orientation, yes, they're training you of how to have great customer service, and that's why they are so successful. But there's something else that they're doing, which is instilling an ownership mindset into their employees. So they found out, hey, if we instill ownership in the mindset in our employees, they give a better customer service, right? So far as sewing, they allow $2,000 per guest per incident per day authority to solve a guest issue. Yeah, so they're actually instilling ownership. They say, you don't need to go ask a manager. You can solve this guest issue right here on the spot. Now you have a brokerage who has figured this out as well. And they have now said, great, we're going to reward agents and we're going to give them not just an ownership mindset, but we're going to actually give ownership. They gift you shares, right? You're paying into a company that's giving you $16,000 in company shares. And then you get so many other different ways to earn that stock. So it's not just by hitting that cap. If you do your first transaction, the EXP, they're gifting you shares. That's amazing. So I think that was something that I found very unique and very different than any other brokerage. It's literally built and owned by agents. Completely different than any other structure that I've ever seen. Another thing that I was researching that was a huge reason why we decided to bring our team over and basically move our whole brokerage of the sales side over to EXP was because I had a system I had a CRM system for our brokerage, right? I paid a lot of money for that system. If every single agent was going to have that, that was probably going to cost me $500 at best to give every single agent that same CRM, right? It was Chimes, very similar to KV Core. Every single agent with EXP gets their own site, their own website, their own CRM. This means your client database, right? So you get to follow up with them. You could do drip campaigns, you could do marketing, you could push it on Google and Facebook ads if you want. It's literally a whole world of marketing that you get, that I was able to now give all of my agents this added value. And remember that overhead cost, way lower, right? Because now I'm not paying for every agent to do that. EXP is providing that as an extra benefit and value. Every single agent gets their own website, which was amazing. With that cloud-based brokerage fee, you also have tons of trainings inside the EXP world. So you get all of these trainings for free, right? That's mind-blowing. You get to be part of these communities and part of these trainings where people are sharing their playbooks with you for free. This was a game changer for me because I was already having trainings. I was already helping my team grow. And now this means that I get to help my team. I get to help you grow into whatever level that you're wanting to grow with unlimited support, right? Unlimited support that is genuinely excited for you to succeed. That's the difference, right? This ownership mindset, that's the difference. That's what sets it apart. And that's why I'm genuinely interested in you succeeding. That's why Amy's genuinely excited for you to be successful. Same for GoGo. This allows me to help my own team not just grow and be successful, but if they want to branch off and be their own team, now I get to help them do that, right? If you are on a team, not at your own brokerage, but if you're just on a team, most of the time what they say, you have 1 year, maybe 3 years good with that team. And then what's going to happen? Somebody's going to grow and they want to start their own team. They've grown to that next level and now they're branching off from you and you're not able to still be their mentor or help them financially rewarded with that. And in this model, you can. It encourages that. It says, no, I want to help you get to that next level. And by me helping you get to that next level, you're going to be more successful. I'm going to be more successful for it as well. And with teams, it doesn't matter what level of production you're at. There's somewhere for you. If you're a domestic partnership, like me and my husband, guess what? We're a domestic partnership. We're seen as one. So that's only one cap and we get to icons quicker, right? That's exciting. If you want to be a self-organized team, which is what I have here locally, I have a self-organized team because I'm not a standard team. My model that I'm set on is helping them identify their own brand, identify their own social media marketing, right? Getting their own voice out there and helping them get on their own so they can have their own teams. So I'm set up a little differently here in my local one, but there's also standard teams. So maybe you already have a standard team. Well, that's very similar. We have that too. Maybe you are a big brokerage and you want to come over and bring everybody over. You could be a mega icon team, right? You have to be at a certain level of production, but your agents get benefits of being half caps and there's tons of information breaking that down. So it doesn't really matter what level you are or what level you're going to, we can help you get there. And within the teams in this community, there are leads, right? And everybody says that. And when we were coming over, I wasn't really counting on that or relying on that. We are just alone. Me and my husband did 15 transactions last year. We're not looking for leads. We don't pay for leads. And so that wasn't something that I really was looking for. But holy smokes, it has been awesome. Like even just some of our team members, they're in the workplace, right? They're monitoring those chats. And as soon as somebody says Columbus, Georgia or Phoenix City, Alabama, they're like, hi, hello, I'm there. And they have gotten successful big leads just from being in those workplace chats. We have our own Facebook communities, exclusive communities. We actually have a state map that has every single agent's location. So if you have somebody that's going to California, or if you have somebody going to Fort Hood, right, you can zoom in, you can find those agents there. And then when you are sending that referral out, you know it's somebody else who is like-minded, who's wanting to give excellent service to your client the same way as you would, right? And vice versa, they're gonna be sending them to you. And it is an amazing network in this community of referrals, right? And we wanna keep it in-house. You succeed, we all succeed. And in this community, you still get that for free. You're not paying extra to have those referrals to you, right? So by being a business partner with us, by building your business with us, you get access to everything for free. I'm not paying anything extra to Amy. I'm not paying anything extra to GoGo. You wouldn't pay me anything extra. You get that included with being business partners with us, which is amazing. Like this is the exact community that I've been looking for. And I know it was a game changer for my business, and I know it can be a game changer for your business as well. No matter where you are, we can be business partners. Doesn't matter what state you're in, what country you're in, we're all over the world. So click the link below, let's schedule a call. I would love to know what your goals are and how we can build together to help you reach them. So if you're still here, thank you. I can't wait to build with you, and click the link below and let's schedule that call.